Well, welcome back to Studio 10. And as a part of Black History Month, you know, we've been going around finding and talking to different people in the community who are doing amazing things. And I'm sitting here with Nedra Cannon, who's the owner and founder of Therapy in Color. How are you, Nedra?
I'm good, thank you.
You're doing great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So actually, you know, I was looking, I've been looking for people in the community to talk to, and I happened to be going through Instagram. And that's how I came across Therapy in Color. And I said, why didn't I have this growing up? So can you tell me a little bit about what Therapy in Color is?
So it is about connecting people, in particular multicultural people, with providers of color, as well as we do trainings and workshops that have to do with racial trauma, sexual trauma and health. And we also really are about trying to connect our community in making sure that they are getting their needs met in the form of therapy.
That's awesome. So what made you say that, you wanted this to be something that, you dedicated your life to? Why did you start this?
Well, when I was probably in middle school, right, we had academic counselors, but I needed something else, but I didn't know what that something else was. And it took me going to college and seeing a lot of shootings, school shootings and different things like that, where I'm like, I could make a difference in trying to find a way really to support other students as well as people of color and resources. So getting into therapy ended up just being a passion for me, because we don't talk a lot about that in our communities. And so having providers that even look like me was just very important to have. So
yeah. And I resonate with that so much. Growing up in my hometown, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with a lot of different things, but I didn't have the language to describe it, or I didn't really know what it was until I got to college, and then I found out, oh, this is a microaggression. This is the language. These are the things that I've been dealing with. So I'm so happy to see that, you've dedicated your life into helping other people who've been going through the same thing. And something else that you mentioned is that within our community, we don't really talk about therapy. We don't talk about getting help and seeking counseling. Would you say that over the years, that's a conversation that's changed, or?
I would say that it is changing, right? I think that we still are needing to talk a lot about mental health stigma, as well as some days are not good days. It doesn't mean that it'll be that way forever, but we don't really talk about that. And so I think that with the pandemic, we saw certainly an increase in people seeking services, and that has made a difference. But I think we still have, a ways to go in terms of people feeling like it's okay to actually seek out mental health services.
That's awesome. And so when people do seek you out and they do come to you as a client, what are some of those coping techniques and practices it is that you recommend?
I recommend boundaries, creating and establishing healthy boundaries. I see oftentimes we are conditioned to say yes to everything and not say no. And what happens if we say no, right? I mean, sometimes we have shame attached to that and all of these other things that come up. So teaching people about how to say, have and create boundaries, as well as, just mindfulness, teaching them about mindfulness practices and being present in the moment. For me, music is very close to my heart. So, music therapy, just dance it out, aromatherapy. So utilizing your 5 senses when you are in need of a way to kind of just come back to self to address whatever it is that you're faced with. And one of my favorites is, I like to call it the 5-second pause, but it's really not 5 seconds. It's however long you need to take in order to kind of calm and then address whatever it is that you're navigating.
That's awesome. I love that, especially, when you have a busy work day, taking that 5 seconds works.
Yeah.
So can I just ask you really quickly, I know you have a couple events coming up. Can you tell people how they can register for them, and just tell them what those few events are as well?
Yes. So Sister Soul Space is a Black women support group, and I like to call it Kitchen Table Talk, and that is going through the 1st of March. That's on Wednesdays, and we also have a women's wellness series coming up. We'll be talking about high functioning anxiety, as well as depression and how to navigate that, and healing from narcissistic abuse. People can register from that through our office manager on our website at therapyincolor.net. And our office manager is Chase Anderson, who happens to be my oldest daughter, who was in the green room with me. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for just all the work it is that you're doing in the community.